Today we are at Lowe's Garden Center. We are going to be looking at cool weather flowers, bulbs, clearance items, new arrivals for Christmas, and perennials that you can plant now so they can come back for you every year. And if you've never been here before, my name is Marlene. Welcome everyone to my home and garden channel. Now let's see what they have. So first, let's take a look at the clearance items, and I thought this was amazing. They had 75% on all of the chrysanthemums, and what I like about it is that these were large containers, and so that means that you can actually keep them in there and they will stand, they'll be able to survive pretty well, if the weather gets cold in your area. Usually up to about growing zone 7, I would say they should be okay. But of course, you can always take them out and you can plant them in your flower beds because they have better insulation there. So it's easier for them to survive. And of course, you'll put your mulch in around, inside the container. So that way they have that extra protection from the colder weather and they should be fine. And the smaller ones, I'd recommend having those inside, to beautify your space, maybe for Thanksgiving or, the rest of the fall season, and just enjoy them that way. And you can always repot them in the spring or put them out in your flower beds at that time. But the larger ones, they pretty much are usually okay. Just keep them close to your house and they should be fine. Moving along, next we take a look at the bulbs. And these were some nice red tulips. And late fall is a great time to plant them as long as the ground is not frozen over. And these ones are actually going home with me today. I think they're so gorgeous. And they also had some like that one there with the mixed colors. And look at this, guys. I wanted one of these alliums so bad, and unfortunately they're finished. So typically what you want to do is to just make sure that when you see them, you buy them, or you can get them online. I do have links below if you missed out and you wanted to get some. You can always try some of my affiliate links and you can get some of those that way. But it's the perfect time to plant them, guys, in the fall before the ground is frozen over. You can just put them in and you'll have beautiful flowers in your garden in the springtime. These are some anemone. I myself have never grown them before, but they are perennials. They come back year after year and they spread out. So, it's going to be really beautiful. And, you look at the colors that they have and see what would work best for you. And you can see how they're looking here. And these were 12 in the pack. And you can see that the price, pretty reasonable, $4.98 for those. So next we move on to the bulk one. So over here now, this actually, and look at the daffodil bulb. It's pretty large, nice and healthy bulb. And those were for $24.98 and you're getting 50 bulbs, guys. 50 bulbs. That's a lot. So if you want your, a dramatic look in your garden for the spring, I would say go for this if you have the space, or if you have a lot of containers, you can go ahead and put them in them and just have beautiful pops of color. And it's just going to be so gorgeous. And of course, daffodils, if you've been watching my channel for a while, one of my favorite spring blooming flowers, usually one of the first ones to come out. And there are so many different types. So again, if you see them, get them and, put them down in the ground or in your containers so you can be ready for the spring that, will be coming around. And you can see how the prices are going. Fritillaria, I've never tried that one myself. It's new to me. Over here, they have kale, and this is a good stand-up plant as far as the cold weather goes. They survive so well, and you can see they have different types in terms of, how the leaves are. Some of them are a little bit more ruffled, some a little bit more curved. You have the purple ones, and you also have the green ones. And the green ones, once they start to mature, in the center of them will look white, so you have that contrast. And if you had seen my recent video showing my overwintering our garden, you would see that, how mine has been coming up that way. And they have the smaller ones too. So let's say, you're doing a lot of them or you're on a budget, they have the smaller ones for you as well. So these were the smaller ones that they had there. And they'll come up. And the wonderful thing about kale too is that, in the springtime, they bloom. When the weather gets warm, they bloom. So when the bees start coming out as some of the, usually the first pollinators, they're going to come and enjoy those blooms. And that happens in my garden every spring. Over here now we have some snapdragons. These are also cool weather flowers as well, and these are so pretty. I think they're gorgeous. I'd say maybe up to about growing zones 8, perhaps 7 in some cases. These are actually perennials and they will come back year after year. In colder areas, they most likely will not, but it doesn't, hurt to give them a try. And, they may go down a little bit when the weather gets cold, down to freezing, but usually they'll come back up. But just keep an eye on them depending on where you are. That'll determine it. But over here, these are the pansies, and these are my favorite winter flowers as far as annuals go. They're so, so gorgeous. I just love them. And the yellow ones, they smell so, so nice. I didn't realize this until maybe about 2 years ago, how sweet they smell, the yellow ones. You can see they had the flats there. You can get multiple ones, or you can get your smaller containers. It just depends on what you are going for. And they have the red and they have the white. So let's say you wanted to put that for the traditional Christmas colors, you could use it for that. And over here they have some dianthus, another favorite of mine, cool weather plant. And these, they bloom, they'll go right through. And these are perennials as well too. The pansies are annuals, but these are perennials, so they come back every year and they're absolutely gorgeous. I love them. So you can see the wide selection of pansies that you have. And, you can plant them in containers, put them on your porch and they'll be there, whether for Christmas, depending on the colors that you're using, or just, have them come on after Christmas has passed, and you'll beautify your garden. And, they just do so, so well. They hold up so well under the cold weather. And if there's an issue with the cold in your area, don't forget to pick up one of those, blankets that'll help to keep your plant warm if you have like a really cold snap that's unseasonably cold. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of these trees that they have over here. The evergreens is the arbor vitae, and I absolutely love, love, love the color. That kind of a lime greeny color is one of the newer garden trends that's coming around, so you'll see a lot more of those. And this is already prepared in the container with the the ribbon on top, so it's perfect for your Christmas porch or wherever you wanted to put it in your garden. You can see the price that they're going for there. And this one is another one right here. This is a cypress, and it is so, so beautiful. I love it. It's kind of like a low shrub that you could grow in your garden. And you can see the price on that one there. It's called Gold Mop. And you can understand why, because it looks just like a golden mop. I think it's really, really beautiful. And over here now they have some spruce dwarf Alberta. And you can see these are also very pretty here as well. You can dress these up, like for your porch. You can wrap maybe like lights around them. You can put other types of decorations on them. Or you can leave them as they are because their containers are so pretty, so it does give it that pop of color. Or if you wanted to switch the container out to fit your color scheme, maybe you're not going for the reds, you can do that as well too. It just depends on what you want to do. And the beauty about these plants is that you get to put them, in the flower beds, depending on what you want to do in your garden, over the years. But always be sure to check the height to make sure that it's not going to get too tall or too wide, when it bushes out, fluffs out, that it's going to be okay for the space that you're choosing for, because you don't want to have to be moving it or cutting it down because it doesn't fit where you got it anymore. So you can see the prices on them, how they're going. This is another lovely here for me, camellia. I absolutely love this plant, and this is called Yuletide camellia, and it blooms in Christmas time. So it's perfectly named, and that would be why. And I've done a previous video about camellia, telling you all the ins and outs and how to grow them in containers, how to grow them in flower beds. So if you go down to my video tab and you scroll down, further down, you'll see that that's coming up there for you. It's a lovely plant. Over here now we have some cyclamen, and this is wonderful. This though you most likely keep it inside the house because they can handle cold, but not like a hard freeze. And the beauty about this plant is that it is actually a perennial. And these, I'm told, can live as long as 100 years. Yes, guys, you heard me right. And so if you're using jewel tones for the holiday season, you can always use some of the pink and white ones like these right here. Over here now they have some beautiful poinsettias. You can see how they arrange them here in the containers with a spider plant along with the pothos. So that's a perfect little, centerpiece. You could use that, a little corner somewhere, a little nook somewhere inside your home, and it'll be beautiful. Over here now we have the Amaryllis. And it's a little kit that it comes in. This is like a nice indoor flower. They set them in a way that the hormones that are in them allows them to bloom at that time, as the Paperwhites as well too. So they'll be blooming during the Christmas, and that's what we want. The color matches the season, the traditional colors, and I just think they're so beautiful. And if you're going with different, a different color scheme, you can always use the white one, so that way it kind of matches with anything that you might have had in mind. You can see how much these are going for here. These are the smaller ones. But I'd say if you're new to Amaryllis, what you can maybe do is get the one that is already coming up so you can see it. You can know that it's coming up. You don't have to worry about it. And these, they'll come back year after year with the right care. I'm even, because I'm in growing zone 8 and I've seen people plant these outdoors and they have them there year in, year out, and it still does well. So it just depends on what you want to do. If you're getting for smaller sizes, they have, the smaller sizes here as well. And basically you have to do everything from scratch with these. So you're paying less. But, if you have a little experience with them, you can always, get it this way. And of course, it does save you some money as well. So it just depends on what you're wanting to do. So you can see how much these were going for right there. I absolutely love Amaryllis. They're so pretty and so very, very seasonal. Now let's move on to the faux trees. So over here we have some faux Christmas trees, and you can see how they're looking here on the prices. And of course, they have the multicolor ones, and they have the ones that are, like the white lights. So it just depends again on what kind of color scheme you're working with. And they also, they're showing you the price there for $4.98. Most of these were 7.5 feet tall. And I think this is the only one I saw that didn't have lights on there. So it just depends. Some people like to put their own lights on all the way. Some people like them pre-lit like myself. And sometimes I may add a few lights in here and there. So it just depends on what you prefer. But I thought these were pretty. And of course, the issue is always, or the question is usually to, flocked or not flocked. I like the look of flocked trees, but I will say that they can be a little bit messy. So I tend to just go towards the green ones. But, it just depends on what your preference is. And I do decorate my porch. This is a previous video that I did that has done really well. You can always check it out in my Christmas series playlist. And I did this one last year, the candy cane style. Depending on when you're watching this, that'll also be in there for you as well. So, just go ahead and take a look and see the prices, what you like, what works for you. And just take it home and it'll be wonderful in your space. You can see they even have like for $2.78 there. So it just depends on what's in your budget. This one here has longer needles on there. So it's very unique, and you can always fill them in if there are gaps. It just depends on how full you want your tree to look. And since you've made it this far in the video, if you have never subscribed to my channel before, I'd love for you to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell twice so you never miss an upload. You can see my gardening and flower topics as well as me decorating for the Christmas season. So now we're back outside again to take a look at some of the perennials that you can plant now. And these over here, these are encore azaleas, and I love azaleas. They're a beautiful mainstay in the southern garden. I'm sure they grow in other areas too, but they're like a mainstay in the southeast, especially where I am. And you can see they have different colors over here. And, once your garden center has them out, it means that it's okay for you to still plant them, because this year has been unseasonably warm in many areas of the country. So, it's still okay to put them down at this point. If you're not sure, if you have questions, you can always hold off and get them in the spring if you prefer that. But just so you can see what's available and you can make your decision. These are some beautiful hydrangeas right here. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I absolutely love hydrangeas. These are so, so beautiful. I just absolutely love them. Such a wonderful plant. And over here now they had some beautiful roses. Another one you can always put down at this time too. And this one, it smelled so, so sweet. And it was going for $19.98. And I think it really, really is worth it. So you can go ahead and put these down in the ground, or if you have somewhere where it's not going to be like out in the cold, sometimes you can just have them stay in the container they're in and just, pack mulch in around them. It just depends on, what you want to do. If you have like a sunroom, even better for you. And over here, they had some fruit shrubs, and these are blackberries, and you can see how much those were going for there. $12.96, which I think is a pretty decent price. We're doing some work on the backyard, so if we weren't, I certainly would have gotten one of these, especially the blueberries, because I love blueberries, and the blueberries, they are so, so good for you. So I'd say, if you're able to get them now and it's something you always wanted to do, then go ahead. Because what happens when you plant your perennials in the fall is that they get a chance to start being established before the ground freezes over. And then once it does, they go to sleep and then they pop back up in the spring for you. Over here, this is a beautiful dogwood tree, and I love dogwood trees. There was a toss-up between me getting a dogwood and a tulip tree, or the magnolia. Years ago, the pink one, and I went for the magnolia. But sometimes I'm like, maybe I should have gotten the dogwood. I don't know, but I love the pink one anyway, the pink magnolia. So over here now we have the regular magnolia, which would be the one that has the large white flowers, and it becomes a very, very large tree. And you'll see them being used a lot, during the holiday season. People use them to make wreaths, the leaves that is. They use them to make wreaths. They use them to make garlands. They put them on the trees, because of that two-tone color. It is just so, so beautiful. And I did want to show this to you over here. This is actually an asparagus fern. I think they're wonderful. They're beautiful. And they're great plants to keep indoors as long as they have some light coming in on them. But this was for $74. So I thought that was a little bit pricey. You can tell me in the comments if you thought that was a reasonable price. Maybe I'm just not aware of, how they are. But that was a large container nonetheless. This smaller one here, still looking beautiful, was for $21.98. So let me know your thoughts on that. Because, the prices here are pretty good, but I thought that one was a little bit different. So I'm hoping that, you got some great ideas as to what you can get for your home, to start getting everything together for the holiday season. And be sure to stick around, for my future videos, my upcoming videos, where I'll show you how I decorate my porch, my tree, my mantle, and a home tour. So all of that is in store, God willing. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to thank you so much for watching. And I do hope to see you in the next video. Take care and happy gardening, happy decorating.